Not all visionaries seek the spotlight. Some shape history quietly, changing the world while staying in the shadows. One such man was Amadeo Giannini, the founder of Bank of America. He revolutionized banking, bringing financial power to everyday people when banks only catered to the wealthy. Yet he never sought recognition. In fact, he actively avoided it. How did a fruit seller's son build one of the biggest banks in the world? And why did he reject personal fame while doing it? This is the story of Amadeo Giannini, America's most humble banking titan. Amadeo Pietro Giannini was born in 1870 to Italian immigrant parents in San Jose, California. His father worked tirelessly in the fields, but a tragic event would shape Amadeo's future. His father was murdered in a dispute when Amadeo was just 7 years old. His widowed mother remarried Lorenzo Scatena, a businessman who ran a produce company. Young Amadeo worked alongside his stepfather, learning the ins and outs of trade. By 19, he was already managing the business and had a talent for fair deals, honest relationships, and understanding the needs of hardworking people. But business wasn't enough for him. He saw something bigger, a problem that needed solving. In the early 1900s, banks were not for the common people. They served the rich, turning away farmers, laborers, and immigrants. To get a loan, you needed wealth, property, or connections. Giannini saw this as an injustice. He believed banking should be for everyone, not just the privileged. But convincing others wasn't easy. The financial elite laughed at the idea of lending money to working-class families. Banks were not in the business of helping people. They were in the business of making money. Giannini disagreed, so he decided to change the game himself. In 1904, with a modest $150,000 raised from family and friends, Giannini opened a small bank in San Francisco. He called it the Bank of Italy, catering to the working class, immigrants, farmers, small business owners, people banks had long ignored. His approach was radical. He gave loans based on character, not just collateral. He welcomed immigrants, speaking their languages and treating them with respect. He introduced branch banking, allowing access beyond a single location. People responded. They trusted him because he trusted them. His bank grew, but the real test was yet to come. In 1906, disaster struck. A massive earthquake devastated San Francisco. Buildings collapsed, fires raged, and banks locked in their vaults were unable to function. Giannini did something extraordinary. He loaded $80,000 in gold and cash onto a produce cart, covering it with oranges to avoid looters. While other banks shut down, he set up a makeshift bank on a wooden plank outside his ruined building, handing out loans to people in desperate need. Over the next few decades, the Bank of Italy expanded. Giannini pioneered branch banking, allowing small towns to access financial services. By 1928, he merged with another institution and renamed it Bank of America. His goal? To make banking a service, not a privilege. He financed Hollywood's first films, helping the movie industry rise. He backed the Golden Gate Bridge when others refused. He provided loans during the Great Depression when people had nowhere else to turn. But despite his success, Giannini never let money change him. Unlike the Rockefellers and Morgans of his time, Giannini had no interest in wealth for wealth's sake. He refused lavish offices, preferring a small desk. He never sought headlines, turning down interviews. He rejected stock options, saying the bank belonged to the people. He refused to let his family inherit control, preventing dynastic wealth. He stepped down as CEO in 1930 but continued working in a simple role. Giannini believed that true success was measured not in dollars but in impact. By the time he passed away in 1949, Bank of America was the largest bank in the world. Yet, he remained a simple man. No statues, no monuments, just a lasting influence on modern banking. Amadeo Giannini changed the financial world but never let it change him. In an era of ruthless businessmen and corporate greed, he stood apart. Not for fame, but for fairness. And perhaps that's why his name isn't as famous as Rockefeller or Carnegie. He wasn't building an empire for himself. He was building a future for others. This was the story of Amadeo Giannini, the banker who put people first.